Okay, we're using the Nikon SLR instead of the GoPro. Apologise if the sound isn't quite so good, I'll talk high. Right, we're doing a bait and switch here. You may remember these two fields that I started renovating. Right, one I got to the final black coat, the other one I've just cleaned up, I haven't even primed it yet. Turns out these are 16-inch wheels, not 17-inch wheels. This is a 17-inch wheel, which I hope you can see in the picture that it's quite different. Also, the profile of the tyres are quite different. You'll see one's much wider than the other one. The 16-inch wheel is much wider. I'll try and get the specs of the tyre for that in a moment. But this is the wheel that fits on my Austin7 to match the other wheels, right? This is off the orange car from Queens. That's the other wheel that I renovated before. So we're doing a bait and switch now. When I tried to put the tie-in tube on this, there's a whole video of it, but I'm not going to show you that because it's just a disaster. Nothing fitted, right? And basically the tie-in tube just fell off. That's when the message finally got through to me, it was the wrong wheel. This, stay there, please. This is the right wheel. So we're going to go ahead and shoot the video now of this with the tyre and tube being fitted to this wheel and then put on the Austin7. Just as the last time, I'm going to fit the band. I mean, I videoed this already, but it's the wrong wheel, right? I'm going to fit the band around the inside of the wheel, right? And this one, the hole for the valve stem is centred just like the hole here on the rim, so that's obviously the right doohickey there. Let me just put that on right now. So I'm lining up the hole roughly. They're quite easily moved around, so I'm not that bothered about that. This is obviously the right size. The last one seemed so loose, it was just a bit crazy. This fitted perfectly, and the hole is now lined up pretty much. The whole idea is for that to cover the spokes, right? So this is off a little bit, the centre is a little bit off. So I'll just move that round so it fits nicely in the middle groove. You see what I'm getting at here. And this is also off centre a little bit, so let's just move it over. There we go. So it's pretty much centred. I'm keeping the valve stem hole at the top for the moment, just for giggles. Now this, which the video I'm not even going to show you, I had put a washer on this because the other wheel, it was obviously a much larger inner tube that was on it. And it just pulled right through, even with the nut on it. So I had to put a washer on there. Take this little nut off, and then I don't need the washer on this one. Right. So we'll put them up there just now, out of the way. So this is going to go on just like a bicycle tube, right? I'm just going to put that right through the hole there, and I'm actually going to put that nut on right now before I start messing around. You know, sometimes, as I said, the gloves are a boon, and other times not so much. But this doesn't need to go on tight, but it needs to go on so the stem doesn't pull through the hole again. You can tighten that up later. I like to put it on a few. Now this is an 18-inch tube. I don't know why I bought an 18-inch tube, so it's palpably bigger than that. Well, let me just explain. This is from here to here, from rim to rim, measures 18 inches. But the reason it's called a 17-inch wheel is the 17-inch tyre fits inside the shoulder here, which is, I guess, half an inch on each side. So it becomes a 17-inch tyre, and this is called a 17-inch wheel because it takes a 17-inch tyre, right? from rim to rim actually measures 18 inches. And that's where the confusion came with this wheel that I was working on, because when I measured it from rim to rim, 17 inches, take that half inch off though, if it's more than half an inch on this one, this would be a 16-inch wheel, right? Apparently 16-inch wheels were found on, oh damn, I did this the wrong way again, didn't I? I did this the last time. You don't put the inner tube on before you put tyre on. You put tyre on, then you fit the inner tube inside the tyre. And that way, I didn't even notice the last time that the tube was actually too big. It's an 18-inch tube. I guess that was the only one that was available. I don't really know. I'll find that this is an Excelsior tyre that I'm going to fit here, but it's not an Excelsior tube. Maybe it came recommended as being. It's back on again. I think I do need my tyre iron to fit this. So let's do it the other way around it. Put the wheel in there. Like so. How do I do this again? Anyone remember? You just popped it nicely and it goes in. Yeah, it kind of does. You topped it nicely. I mean, obviously, popped it nicely anyway because it's your friend. But no, I need my tyre irons again. I really wanted to show you what I learned about these tyre irons too. I'm going to show you, maybe once I put this on here I'll show you. You use them like this. See how there's a profile on that? There's a hook. And this, for taking off the tyre, you hook that under the rim and push the rim down, which creates a gap. And then you put that tyre iron into the gap and clunk it out, right? And so you lever it out. Lever it out. And then you go to the next bit and you break the bead down and then you put that tyre iron in like that. So that's what I learned. Anyway, we need to kind of flip this around. And the problem with this, of course, is you're going to damage your nicely newly painted tyre rims. The nature of the beast, I guess. I don't know how you get that on. Kind of pushes it the other way, right? I can just. Don't exactly see how you do that. Maybe hooky bit. That would help it. Buggers up your rims, which I thought had hardened overnight. There's another hard one. Between the spokes. That's good. On a bike tyre, you run your fingers around here, right? Of course, you can't do this here. Take your fingers off. Make the sore anyway. So I've caught it round the rim there as it starts to come off, you know. So let's try it with the hammer, see if I can. So I've got the hooky bit. put that in there, I'll put this hooky bit on. It'll just start to kind of come off the run. Focus it along. It seems to be doing it. Just easing that. I have to keep my foot on the tyre, stop it moving around. This seems to be just coaxing that bead to go across the edge of the tyre, across the edge of the rim here. There we go. So that worked. Cool. So it was the hooky end in, under, and just knocked it around, and it gradually fed that bead back on again. Right, now, so if I'm right, I can put the tube in here, right, and find my hole. There's my hole, right there, right, and then feed the tube through there, and then put that bead on, I guess, similar to the way I just put that bead on. Right. We'll try it, right? That's the way I do a bike. So I'm taking that wee nut off the stem again. And I'll feed this through into the hole for the valve. There's the hole for the valve there. Hope that we anything that, you know, the little rubber band didn't move appreciably. There's still some air in this inner tube, which is either going to make it easier or more difficult. That's a reasonable assumption. Right, let's set in the tyre. Can we move that over to get that valve stem in there? So we'll be in first. So make a bug work if it's in the wrong position. See where my valve stem is. There we go. There's a little bit of tyre in there. Over to where the hole was. So you don't have to put the thing inside the tyre first, you know, because you run the risk of busting the tube out. You'll be able to get that in there somehow. I put my hand in there. The gap disappears when I move across it. I think I get that valve sitting in there. I think I get it in before. Did I put it in before? Exactly what we're doing. Maybe do not put the tube in first. I'll stop and come back to you. I need to figure this out. So that's the beauty of doing this. I just put that rim on the other side of the wheel right now. I'm not over thinking, okay, that's where I'm going to put my tube in. No, the rim that you just put, the rim of the tyre that you just put on there, that's where your gap is for finding your valve stem, and you push it in there, and then feed your tube into that part. Right, so I'll put that in there. I'm going to put that wee nut on it, and then I have to push up and in on the tube to make sure it goes up inside the tyre. Because the next part is going to be quite crucial when I'm actually going to tighten this up now, right? So it can't move around too much inside that wheel. Because it's going to be quite important now, push that tube up inside that tyre as much as possible so that you don't catch it with your tyre iron when you're putting the other rim of the tyre on, right? So I'm tightening that up as much as I can. So I'm going to push this up inside the tyre. If in fact I can, which I can't, because it doesn't want to cooperate. It would go in easily on the other side, not going in easily on this side. Up inside the tyre. I remember how I did this before. The thing is, you can't get the valve in from the other side. The tube's easy to put in there. There's another way of doing this. It isn't quite so messed up. Part of the problem is there's no air in this tyre. So I'll stand there, try and get the air out of the, still some air in this tube. It's making it difficult to manoeuvre around. Slow, but not the air. So I need an actual thingy. What I was just doing before is just put the damn valve down and I've got all the air in. Right? This is really not perfect rare though. Right, anyway, I need to get that up inside there. Any ideas on how to do that? There's nothing to do. It's going to get harder and harder, not easier and easier. On the inside there. Put the tube in another way, I can't get the valve stem in. It seemed a lot easier than it did last time. I understand what's making this so difficult. This thing. Not get it out there. I can definitely get it out there. One. So I apologise guys, I switched again. So I put it in from the side that's loose, right? So the rim of the tyre is not fitted to the rim of the wheel yet. That's the side that we just levered on, right? So I put the tube in from that side and I just had to squeeze my fingers in here. It was really awkward. Squeeze my fingers in here and then manipulate I put all the tube in all the way around, right? Pushed it up into the tyre as much as I could. I think it's pretty much inside the tyre and inside the rim now. Did twist a few times when I put it in there. didn't pay much attention to that. And then it was really awkward. I had to just push and push and push until I saw the valve stem at the other side, and then I could kind of manoeuvre it a little bit and eventually get it in there. Then I tightened this up, not very tight, no, now I'm getting it tighter because I managed to straighten it up a little bit. It was at a bit of an angle. So that's what I did. I managed to get it in. It was not easy, man. Not easy at all. So, anyway. Now, this is a tricky bit, right? We need to get that rim in there without it. Oh, the other thing I did was I took the valve stem out of here. It was handy dandy. The dust cap, in this case, I don't know if all dust caps have this, but the dust cap, I hope that will focus on there. The inside of the dust cap has a little doohickey that you can put in the inside of the tyre stem and then unscrew the valve. As soon as you unscrew the valve, of course, all the air escapes from the tube. You give it a good squeeze. It was super flat by the time I finished, and then you just screw the valve back in again, right? So the valve's back in there again. The tube should be functional now, right? But the real tricky bit now will be getting that tyre, the last of the tyre rim here, across the rim of the wheel, and I think before I managed to do it just by doing this. See that? That is going in there. And if I can just do this dance round the rim, maybe it'll all pop in and we'll be happy without even using the tyre irons at all. Might need to use it for the last bit. This rim is going in just with my exceptional body weight. Right? If you're a light fella or lassie, maybe this won't work for you. I'm 217 pounds as of the scale this morning, which is a bit embarrassing, but putting that kind of weight on it seems to at least get some of the tyre in there, right? Thing is, as soon as you lay off, it starts to pop back out again. So you've got to kind of keep on doing it, and I guess the last bit ain't going to go in. And that would get back to that same tool again, right? And hope you don't catch the tube. We'll put my finger in there. The tube seems to be well away from the rim. So here's hoping I don't catch the old tube, my friends. So let's try it. I don't know if you can see that. Just took a big chunk of the tyre rim as well. No, that's not good. Maybe get that back out again. I realised as I was pushing it around there, all I was doing was pushing it out the other end. So that did not work. Plan A did not work. Plan B. Feels as if that's catching on that tube. But it did. Alright. Catches on that tube, it's toast, man. And then we have to do it all over again. So, I'm very anxious about doing that. A little bit more to do. A bit of lubrication. Fairy liquid's supposed to work wonders. Fairy liquid is a Scottish term for Scottish or British product. Dishwasher detergent, I don't know what you call it. This is palm oil. Makes it all very slippery. Inside and outside, right? Which is good, I think. So slippery, this one will grip like that. So I've slipped that in, the other side slips out. Aye, aye, aye. I wish I knew what I was doing here. There must be a better video for you guys to watch. Okay, it's very slippery now. I know when you finally pop, it just pops, man. And it's the best feeling. This is just going in, you know. Get in there. See, make some progress, not much. Go at this right angle. Otherwise it won't catch. Maybe the hook end. No, we'll get it back out anymore. Back to this, guys. What is that? That's exactly what it was doing. Pop that. It's going to pop right out again, right? In retrospect, I would have tried the other end first, because now we're balanced on that wheel thing, and the whole wheel's got a little wobble, right? Well, this is just not working. Stops it from going off the run again. Don't seem to be making any progress. It looks as if this is moving, but I'm not sure it is. I mean, it's moving round the rim, but it seems to me this is travelling with it. Maybe. It is going nice, that is good. Now if I bust that tube, it's all been for naught. I hope I didn't. Let's put some air in it and see. My little doohickey. That was hard work. So that was the hook end, right, like this. Hooked down to the rim, then banged round, but you have to keep your foot on that bit. It knocked hell out my nicely painted rims. But I guess I can go and touch them up. So, let's see if it takes them here. Bust that tyre up over the rim of the thing. Got it set to 25. Put 25 on it. I think it said about 22 before. We'll call this up to 22 and see. I may have busted this too. We'll soon find out. I don't hear anything untoward. That's good news. Get a wee rag, give it a wipe. I suppose when you think of it, the rim that I did beat up is the inside of the rim. I'll touch that up with some black paint. This I beat hell out the centre cap. It still has some of the paper on it, right? I'll take that off. I heard some air escaping now. Let's see that. If I did bust that tube, I'm going to be very upset. I'll leave it for a few hours and see if it goes there. Then I'm not going to immediately put it on the car. Hopefully I didn't damage that inner tube. It's like a bike. You know, I have done that before on my bike. put the tyre on and busted the tube in the process. That dishwasher detergent got everywhere. You can see I marked this up along the rims as well. It's not bouncing very well, is it? I don't hear any ominous hissing. That doesn't mean anything, of course. Could have that hole in that. It should bounce better than that, right? Paranoid now. Let's see what my little tyre pressure gauge says. I should be able to get another couple of turns on this. No. It's not saying nothing. It's if it has zero pressure. Yeah, maybe I busted that tube. Yeah, it's gone down immediately. Wow. What a waste of effort. I busted the inner tube, put it in. Damn it. There's no, that's why it's not bouncing. There's no pressure in that at all. It's flat already. Damn it. Damn it. Damn it. It says it's 15. It's only occurred to me maybe I hadn't tightened that valve up enough. That's as tight as it will. That's the way it should bounce. It's full, I think. But now I said it's 15. 14. 12. And have a puncture. Damn, 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 damn. Damn it, oh damn. Got a hole in my brand new tube. Okay. Well, that's what it is. You watch the failure right here. So, I'll just use the tyre rims, tyre irons to get this rim off again. I'll just take the little nut off the valve stem and push that through. And then we're going to see where this puncture occurs, see if we can learn something from my mistake. Now it's going to bust my hump if there's nothing busted about this, but I'm sure we're going to see. Well, there's a big twist in it first of all, right? Lots of twists in it, which is not good, I suppose. So that's the thing to watch, not to twist it as much as I did. Let's put some air in and see if we can see where we busted it. It's really going to upset me if we didn't bust it. It's about 4 fingers from, oh shit, there's another one. No, just that. I think I have a tyre repair kit. I don't want to put another new one on it and then bust that as well. Holy crap. Okay. So my brand new tube, there's a hole in hesitate. I did go watch a guddle on install this, a YouTube. I'll connect to it so you can see a real guy who knows what he's doing does this. I'm hoping this rubber cement is okay. So we're back. I had to get some more rubber cement, of course, to try and fix this puncture. I am not reading the instructions because I've repaired dozens of bike punctures over the years. Surely to God, a tyre tube can't be that different. First rule, I would imagine, is don't drop these all over the ground because you don't want them getting dirty. So of course that's the first thing I'm going to do. And get a decent sized one. And back in the day, we rubbed the area. Let's see if we can get that valve out of there again. So I thought, oh, maybe I just did the valve wrong. That's the wrong thing. This is the right thing. I think I showed you before, there's a little doohickey in the inside of that, which allows me to unscrew the valve. Right, so I'm unscrewing the valve, there we go. And I dropped it in the dirt. The YouTuber that I looked at says, don't put your tube on the ground. Sorry about that. I put the tube. YouTube. The tube on the ground. Anyway, this is a rough bit inside here. Normally you've got a bit of emery paper or something, right? So I'm just rubbing where the puncture is. And then I was always taught to put 2 coats of rubber cement on, wait till the first one gets tacky. So, right where the puncture is, you don't need to go crazy. Big enough for one of those practical. Let it go off. Won't take long. If in doubt where the hole is, put a circle round about it. I've had it. A second coat of rubber cement on. Let that go almost off, right? Then get your patch, pull the back end off it. The rubber bit you want to put on, right? So it'll be foil or plastic or something that's broken the back plates. So just put it off that and it's easy. Makes it super easy. Three bits. Okay. Overkill. Centre it up over the hole. Give it a good press down towards the edges, right? That should be it. Leave it for a few minutes. Put all your stuff back together again. Try not get them dirty, right? Like I just did. If you're smart with them. I'm going to put the wee lid back on. So there's my valve stem, which I also just dropped in the ground. Be obvious what way up it is. I didn't find it very obvious because I put it in the wrong way around first of all. I guess you can start with your fingers. You've got to finish it with that valve cap. What I showed you before. I can't find it. What are we doing? There it is. I don't know how long to leave that. I need to give that inner tube a good dust down now because I've had all of the ground in. I don't have marine glasses on me. How to patch a tyre. Use the scuffer, apply rubber cement, gently work the rubber cement, evenly remove the backing, sticky side down, wait till rubber cement to fully dry before putting air in your tyre. Fully dry, especially around the edges, blah blah blah. Doesn't say how long to dry. Okay, we'll leave it for 10 minutes. Huh? Okay, we'll come back. Right, I've given it a couple of minutes. Not even 5 minutes. I also said in that YouTube video, which I'll give you a link to put some talcum powder around the outside. I don't use this stuff anymore for me because I couldn't say it was carcinogenic or something. So anyway, before we do like cleaning off the tube and all that good stuff, this appears to be dry. Let's put some air in it, see if it'll hold air. We'll soon find out. I mean, that might not be the only puncture, it might be just that was the most obvious one. But let's try it, shall we? Start. Perfect. Did not leave it long enough? It doesn't even seem sticky. Wow. Nothing's worked today, huh? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Wow. I've never had this much trouble before, honest to engines. Never. These are just pure stick patches for a bike. Screw it, I'm going to try it. I don't have to fix anything. I'm going to put it underneath and put a wheel on the top. It's an experiment, right? Just try it. Screw it. Why not? Once I get to 2 punctures in a tube, I won't use it in my car. So, I'm officially 2 punctures. I think they're repaired now. I put those peeling patch on. You know, you saw me do one there. I put one on the other one. And then I also put some rubber cement over the top and then put a regular patch on top of that. Let's inflate it. As I said, I'm not going to use this tube anymore. I'll use another new one. And hopefully I won't mess that up. Maybe I will. I've got 3 tubes to try and mess up. There's another puncture. Wow. They're going right there. Any more? Honest to God. I really did a number on that tube, didn't I? Wow. I'll try one of those peel and stick ones right on top of that without taking the valve out and everything again. Dear me, what a mess I made of that tube. We'll keep this as a deep spare backup. Right, peel and stick. Just peel it. You're going to be ripped into pieces. No, I'm just putting it right on there. Right there wrongly. You'll see. You can actually do that. Right over where the air's coming out. You're certainly learning how not to do it, right? New tube. The guy I'm going to give you a link to, it was a Jeep Willis tyre that he was working on, wheel and tyre. He said some people recommend put some air in, he does not recommend put some air in, I'm the same. Keep it deflated. Someone else said put some talcum powder on it, I think that's a good idea. Smells nice. Smells like a baby's butt. So what do people use on babies' butts now? We're not allowed to use this. Righty hat. Back to the struggle of getting this valve stem through the hole. Here's the hole. Valve stem. You can ease this tube in all the way around and then struggle with the valve stem. I think I'll do the same thing. And he said pay particular attention not to get it in the ground and not to twist it. Taking some ice. Try not to twist it. Get it in there. He did this on his lap like this, you know. So the gap in the tyre was always right underneath your fingers. That's smart. He did it sitting on the ground, but the ground is wet here. I'm pretty sure I put all that in there without twisting it. That's it inside. Now can I find the valve stem? He had the same trouble as me. He said these narrow wheels made it very difficult to locate the valve stem and put it in the right place. And his tyres were not as narrow as mine. So try. It was a real puzzle to get it the last time. And basically kind of shimmied it down on the things to get it poking out the other side. Out and pushing the stem out to the other side of the tyre where the gap is. Not the easiest thing to do because you're fighting against the other rim of the tyre, you know. Right there. Just get a little nut on that. Pull it down a little bit. Can't even get one thread on. recommending having a wee tool to pull at it. Or what kind of wee tool that would be? You see, have a bit of wire on a nut like this here. I'm hoping the nut will pull it in, which it is. The nut is pulling it. Pulled the tube just with my fingers. He used all those pliers. It still wants to pull itself back into the tyre, but gradually I'm screwing that nut in. Pulling it and screwing the nut at the same time, if you can understand that a little bit. Inside. And then I can take that nut all the way up. And hopefully keep that inner tube in place. Now, what he did use, he pushed with soapy water. He pushed as much as he could in with his hand or his foot, and then used the tyre iron, but he put his finger in each time he used the tyre iron to make sure that he wasn't catching the inner tube in here on the rim. So, I can do the same thing, I guess. Make sure this inner tube is way out the road of the rim. Put plenty of liquid soap on there. I'm just going to put some more, because it all came off already. They recommended that soapy water. Soapy water, I just have the palm oil of liquid here, which I'm going to liberally put around this rim here. Okay. Hermetically sealed with the baby powder. I don't know how that works. Doesn't cause a problem. I'm laughing, but I'm really frustrated with this thing. This has been like a 3-day project trying to get this thing to do what I want it to do. I'm going to try and push it on, but I think the last one actually managed to get on with 2 feet. You don't want to use tyre irons if you can avoid it, chaps. Look at the mess it made of that tube. It's holding there still, but that other wee one come off with. It's not going to hold there, is it? No, it's not. Try and show you a better repair on that later. I should have let you right. Okay, so let's just try and push this in here. That's what I said before about the pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. Put it in my feet. No tyre irons required. I think that's how I did the last one as well. Now it's been on twice now, that tyre, so it loosened a little bit. The soap made a huge difference. Let's put some air in this. should be fine, right? We've got tyre and everything. Nobody to be seen. I'm just not plugged the damn thing. Whew, fingers crossed. We should be good to go now, guys. Try not to use your tyre iron if you can avoid that. That's it. We're done. At last, huh? That was a marathon, that one. Bounce test. Look at that baby. Furious. Give it a wipe. This has got a brand new wheel and tyre. I can put Austin7. Excelsior. That is a 4-stroke 4.25 by 17. Talcum powderish, but there you go. Adds to the patina. It's done now. Okay, good. Let's call that complete. And the video series is now complete. I hear you saying, thank goodness. I'll touch up the rims where I've beat the crap out of it, right round the rim here. Where the tyre irons took off all that nice new paint. So we don't get any rust problems. But we're done. That's a good new tyre. Bouncy. Bouncy, bouncy. That's what we like, some bounciness. Now it's time for lunch. Maybe. Kinda-ish. Might need to run the pressure washer on that again. Get it nice and clean, huh? But there you go, guys. Newish, tyre-ish. And there you go.